Remember, I told you that today we have a very special guest, a man of many parts, Honorable Shola Desmond Elliot, a man that I've known for over 2 decades. I remember the first time I saw you on my TV was Tajuddin Adekpetu's. Was he Everyday People? Was he Everyday People?
No, it was Saints and Sinners.
Yes,
first.
yes.
Saints and Sinners.
Yeah, and I remember that some of us are growing old, they will never know what
Okay, let me greet people first now.
Wait, they will never remember what I'm talking about. I remember that I remember that your billboard of tantalizers.
Yes, that's correct.
There is nobody here who could have ever known that billboard. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about.
No, it's not possible.
I remember, and I still remember that billboard in my ex.
Have you tantalized that looking?
You understand? So, it's been long that I've been following you, and we've been friends for long, and I don't think I've ever interviewed you.
No, never.
So this is.
Oh yes, I think we have at the other radio station.
Oh, okay.
Once.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a very, very good day. And I will say that finally, because it has taken me months to be able to get you.
I'm sorry about that.
No, I understand the job, because we see your hand apart from Lagos State House of Assembly during the Easter holiday.
Yeah,
we were all, I was together with a group of friends and we watched that movie that you just directed.
Three
is a match.
It's a match. You understand? And it's a very, very lovely film. And last week we had Ose here. Okay. One of the girls.
And the Osara.
Yeah.
She was here last week.
Fantastic actress.
You understand? So, Honorable Desmond Elliot, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure. It's nice meeting everyone here. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
My own first question is this. Okay, sorry. Before I start the question,
I understand that there's a lot of questions that Mr. Bon wants to ask. So, but we have a small profile here.
Right.
That we just want you to introduce you.
All right.
You're not a man that needs introduction, but we feel like we should do the honors first. So I read. Desmond Olushola Elliot is a celebrated Nigerian actor, director, producer, and politician, and I would add, a national leader. Born February 4 in Lagos, is of Yoruba and Igbo descent. He grew up in Lagos and Jos, attending Air Force Primary School and St. John's College. He holds a degree in economics from Lagos State University, 2003. Starting in the late 90s with TV series like Everyday People, he's featured in over 200 films, including Men Who Cheat. I'm sure that number is higher now. Yahoo Millionaire and Behind Closed Doors. He won Best Supporting Actor at the 2014 AMVCA and earned AMA nominations for Behind Closed Doors and Finding Mercy. He co-directed Reloaded in 2008 and has helmed other hits like Finding Mercy and Loving Belinda. As a lawmaker, Desmond has served in Lagos House of Assembly since 2015. Now in his third term, he runs the Desmond Elliot Foundation, which focuses on health and sanitation initiatives. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Honorable, my own first question is this. I've seen a lot of Nollywood practitioners go into politics and they just disappear. They just disappear. Either during the time they are in government, you don't see them do anything in the industry. The only one that I know that have successfully come back very well is RMD. Like I always tell people, RMD left for about 6 years, and when he just came, he just strolled back. Like he never left, and he just kept walking away. But I've noticed that you have never stopped doing one thing or the other for Nollywood. It might not have been pronounced the way it used to be because of time constraint. You understand? I see that you've started Desmond Elliot TV on YouTube now, and I see you directing movies for other people. How do you? And I know that lawmaking on its own,
it's a full-time
job. How have you been able to put everything together?
Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me. Sorry for taking so long before coming for this interview in terms of how long we've been hoping to have this discuss. The reason is political, basically. And in January, that we had a bit of political issues at the House of Assembly, which caused a lot of dragging and stuff like that. Yeah, you're right. I never particularly left Nollywood, both in terms of being in front or behind the camera and in the association with practitioners, and reason is not far-fetched. Firstly, this is I want to say I beg to be from the new school of political thought, where when you become a politician, you don't just totally discard everything and everybody. We've learned over the years that as you are going, remember the relationships you're building as you're growing up, because you actually need them when you're coming down. Everybody will always have a time where they come down. There's always a peak period. There's always a time where you recycle everything. The most important thing is sustenance. That is what I'm doing with Nollywood, making sure I sustain my relationships in Nollywood, making sure younger generation would remember me. I kid you not. It took a long time. I discovered during my first term, after being away for like 4 years or 3 years or thereabout, the younger generation, it was very difficult remembering who I was. So I just said to myself, I have to make sure the name and the legacy, so to speak, remains. And it's one thing to be at the top, it's another thing to sustain being at the top. So it's that sustenance in making sure that people do not particularly forget my person, and the younger ones don't think he's just an actor. He's just a politician. I want them to also remember that very loving, sweet acting part of his life, or theater part of his life. This is coming out of the backdrop that the perception of politicians in this country, but that cannot stop people like me from trying to do good. Especially coming from this part, I'm experiencing it firsthand. I am seeing the good, the bad, and the very ugly part of this world. And it's not been easy, but is it gratifying? Does it give me fulfillment? Yes. Does it make me happy that I'm where I'm at? Yes. I've always wanted to, from the mid-90s, when I read a lot about MKO, I was involved in the June 12th thingy. I was young, yes. I was always reading, and I read everything from his biography. I say it every time. I began to feel God wanted me in this field when MKO, Asiwaju became governor and all that. I just started becoming more and more interested in politics, and I gave it a shot. It took me 8 years, 2006 to 2014. So it took me about that long, to now get it, but I was within that circle, making sure. So while I was doing films, I was always going to one of my uncles, Fuad Oki, in Surulere. So I'll finish in the evening, I'll go to Uncle Fuad. At night, my wife will call, I say, I'm with Uncle Fuad. I will go home, and I kept talking about my experiences when people will come and meet him and everything, and how strange, but I was excited about it. She didn't even understand what I was saying, but she was just like, okay. She didn't think I was that serious. She knew, yes, I was serious, but not that serious, till I called a family meeting, so to speak, and said, you know what, I'm giving it this shot. When you have a desire, or when God puts a desire in you, no matter where you are, you don't feel too comfortable. You feel there's something missing. I always felt that while as an actor. I would sleep and feel like politics was leaving me away. So I didn't need anybody to push me to say, okay, start moving, start going. So Governor Fashola, he got more than 3 million of my messages and emails constantly. His ADC, I disturbed the hell out of his life. And the truth was, I actually thought he wasn't seeing them, because there were no response to the messages. Till one day, I met him in Benin. I went close to him, and he said, Desmond, I've been seeing your messages and this. I'm like, hey, really, sir? I sat close to him. We talked about it. He said, well, keep trying. That same day was the day I met Asiwaju formally. I'd met him previously on different occasions as an actor, but I'd met him in Benin formally, 2006. Adams Oshiomhole had just come in. I think he had just won his election. Won the court thingy. And then, it was yes, after the swearing in, I'd met the comrade during the swearing in, met him, discussed my political ambition with him, blah, blah, blah. And he says, oh, Asiwaju is coming, so they come on this day. And to be very wise, I'm telling people as well, when you go and meet these big people and they say, come so, they request for either his ADC, his PA, his whatever that you can be communicating with. make sure that PA is there, that the man says, make sure you do this. Those direct things are very important, and that was how it was. I think his name was Haruna then, he's ADC. And of course, because I speak Hausa, Haruna was easy to communicate. Do I pause?
No,
Got that noise?
Go on.
Do your thing now. Okay. All right. So yeah. So the noise is all right. So that's how it went, and like they say, the rest is history.
Okay. Now, I know that when you were in Nollywood, you were like the darling of.
It's your word that you are saying past tense.
No.
I still is, baby boy.
No. At that time, you were, because most of the roles that you were being casted
Lover
for
boy.
was either lover boy.
Yeah, then the lips were pink. They're not pink again. Also, don't wound them.
They were either lover boy,
Yeah.
or maybe in the family somebody that they are is being
hopeful.
attacked. So the people at home will, one way or the other, emotionally like you and the rest of it, and then that made the fans to like you. The women came, everything came.
Men too now. Which one is the women came? Men came as well. What are you talking about?
Then you now went into politics,
Yeah.
and then it now looked as if all your fans started attacking you. How did you take it? Did you at that time look at it that I've made a mistake with what I have done?
Okay, so let me answer that last question. Till today, I never thought, and I still don't think it was a mistake. So to everybody, his home and his tent. And I have always known that I was politically inclined. I've always known. I don't know if you call it a politician, but I've always been politically inclined. And yes, the time I even announced I was coming out, trying to run, it started from there. First and foremost, where did you get Olushola from? Olushola, these are more blah, blah, blah. You now posted even as much as your passport, international passport, to show that you are called Shola. You know the name, you know where the home. So my part of Surulere, where we came from, are those that came from the island in the 50s. My father was one of those that moved from Ologbo, Lagos Island into Surulere. Then was called New Lagos, if you remember, being our fathers of those days. So that was how it was. And with the fans, so you know the already established perception of who politicians are. So you are going to go and join them. Either that, they go chop money, Nollywood would never do, those kind of things. But you should always remain focused, because when people do not believe or are trying to test your capabilities, you try to remain resolute in your intent and the reason for which you came. So that is why it's always good to have a good relationship with God. He speaks to you personally. So I'm not doing what everyone else is doing. I am doing what I believe in my heart, that this is what God wants me to do. Because at the end of the day, when we go back home to God, He will not ask you what Sheung did. He's going to ask you what you did and gave to the people. So along the line, don't think it's going to be a bed of roses. It's going to be thorns. You're going to make statements that you probably would regret. You're going to make statements that, though the truth may not have been the truth at that point in time, you're going to make statements that blah, blah, blah. So there's so much that you would be doing that in a very sensitive and polarized situation that we are in is going to arouse different kinds of sentiments. And incidentally, I fell into one, two, maybe three. And is it going to stop? No, it's still going to continue. Is a way of life, is what it is. Until certain things are done, like the gap between government and people is breached. The gap between believability, believing that once we elect you, we know that there will be changes in our community, in my life, in something. Then also once we begin to realize different responsibilities. Also, very importantly, once we realize that every community is unique. So in my area, it might be wheelbarrow they need or transistor radio, and that is what they want. So if you go and give them houses, then they are wondering what the heck they're going to do with those houses. So you give them transistor radio, and they say you will go 15 million times. But to in the eyes of the world, they'll be like, what? Is this what you can do? We sent you there. This is what you bring back. I'm not making an excuse for those who give transistor radios. I'm just trying to say that to every community, you have a unique form. Surulere, for instance, now, Surulere 10 years ago, what Surulere yearns for 10 years ago is not what they are yearning for today. There's growth in leaps and bounds, like when you come to Surulere, of course, attributed to the dividends of democracy, also attributed to the representatives that you have asked to come and represent you. And we are so blessed and lucky to have had one who eventually became speaker. And before he became speaker, you could see through his dimension the growth in what he was doing. And I thank God for the kind of wisdom that the people of Surulere have, to have said, okay, because in other climes you go to, representatives don't do more than 2 terms, because they say you have to let somebody else come. But in this case, Surulere understood that longevity gives birth to experience, and that gives birth to more proficiency. So when you see that someone you've brought up is proficient, is experienced, and you say, let's give it a shot, let's try this guy. And Surulere did that for the man known as Right Honorable Femi Abdul Hakim Bajagbiamila for 6 terms. He didn't finish the 6th one, but the fact that a community, an enclave, conglomerate of different people from tribes and tongues can say, let this guy keep going because we see a future in him. That is what everyone should be looking at now. Now you see this statement I've made now, you will hear something like, hey, he's campaigning for the next term. Do you understand? But this is the point I'm making. So from what I'm saying, people are already deducing different things. But the point is, once you give your elected people time and you believe in what they're doing and you see that he's trying to bridge the gap between government and people, then you give the opportunity to such a person.
I have a lot of friends who are politicians.
Yes.
And one of the things I do to them is to give them feedback. And you can say that because I send you a lot of things. When I see things about you, I send it to you privately. So, and I also have seen a lot of things that you have done in Surulere. Does it hurt you that people don't see you in the things you have done, you are doing? And the only thing they remember was you said here that you have said some statements that you also regret, that probably you wouldn't have said it. And I think if I might help you, I would think that one of those statements was your statement during the EndSARS thing. Period that made a lot of people angry. So my question is in twofold. Do you feel bad about those that they don't see the things that you do? I know a lot of politicians that happens to, that they do a lot, but people don't just appreciate. Okay, so
that's one leg. Because I can't remember your question. So
the second leg.
Let me answer that one first, so that you get. If not, bros, with age, person go they forget his most one. Okay, so
age and a lot of money in your account.
I don't know about that. Honestly, I don't. Trust me, because if I had a lot of money in my account, I would be sleeping, and if I don't sleep, then money never reach. And so back to that. Okay, so. One has to really think about it well. The truth was, you must understand the circumstance. Then you must understand the platforms by which you make such statements. In my case, let me go back to what happened 4 years ago. Actually, 5 years ago now. The EndSARS period. Of course, I was part and parcel of EndSARS period in terms of, if you remember correctly, a lot of things happened in Surulere. If you remember correctly, when the protests came to Surulere, they blocked the road. The police went on, took a lot of protesters. In fact, some were really molested at that time. I was in the chambers because we were having plenary then. When I went, just searched my phone and I just started seeing a lot of tweets towards Surulere. And I became very worried. This was just almost the early stage of the EndSARS period. And immediately, then the speaker also messaged me because he was in Abuja, right on the Rufemi Bajabiamila, and I said I was on my way. I also remember there was a tweet that he said that, okay, he has asked me to go and look at what was going on. I got there, went to the police station. I tried to secure as many people as possible. I even read most of their statements. They were good, lots of commendation. Went to Panti as well. My other colleague, Ajani Owolabi, representing Lagos mainland then too as well. So he was in Panti, I was in Area C. In fact, Oxlade, if I remember correctly, his manager was also in Panti then. We brought them out, did the video, did the pictures, said everything was good. There was a girl that was actually molested at that time. She also gave credence to the fact that I was really upset. But it was tough. We did that, finished around 1 something. So when there was this lockdown during the EndSARS period, if you remember correctly, lots of bad boys came into Surulere. Unfortunately, that was when the curfew was done. Unfortunately, I couldn't go home. I was stuck in Lekki. I couldn't go home. So I had no choice but to go back at that time to my office in Surulere. It was one of them. I don't think I've ever said this anywhere. So there I was inside, and then I never knew there was going to be anything. I promise you. Why would I know? I just knew there was curfew at 4. So it was very chaotic. I went back to my office. I had the TV in my office, so I turned it on and I was watching. Next thing, I just started getting calls. I was already ready that I was going to spend the night there. I think that was the only time I spent the night in my office. And then, before I knew it, my landlady downstairs, her daughter, she's very old, her daughter was screaming, "Honorable Desmond doesn't stay here. What are people doing?" People were angry outside. They threw, now when I knew there was a problem, was when they threw this bottle with
petrol.
Yes, with fuel and fire, and busted into one of the office, not the where I was, but there, and the thing caught a bit of fire but went down, and the lady was frantic. In my own frantic nature, whatever, I called, then I went online. So I was following online. Then I called Uncle Tayo, then we were chief of staff, to the governor. He was in South Africa, I believe. I told him I was in trouble. This was where I was. You got to help me. I've never been so scared in my life. In my life. I was hearing them screaming. So it was just going to politicians' offices, homes, blah, blah, blah. It was horrible. So if you recall, there was, I think, shutdown for a few days. And then I saw the mayhem that was caused in Bode Thomas and Gusonya when the president, the speaker came down, and then we went round and we saw there's this shopping mall in Surulere at Bode Thomas. What's it called now? That shopping mall. ShopRite. What do you call it, mall?
Festival Mall.
No, yeah. It's something more, yes. Yeah. So we went there, saw mothers crying, saw people, some that had CCTVs, they sent it to us. If you had taken all of that, and then I had plenary that day, taking all of that, with all that emotion, I went into sitting. So, yes, these were things that, and it comes with a bit of maturity in the game, so to speak. So I probably could have composed myself better. But then you can take it, if you play it back again, you discover that I was taken out of context in terms of what I said. Now that, tempers are a bit low, watch it again, you find out taken out of context. What was it? It was basically those who were cursing at my speaker that I was referring to. It wasn't Nigerians. I said, and truly, when I looked at when they were cursing him out on Instagram, I just started clicking because some of these curses I never heard before. So I just clicked and I'm like, oh my God, this person cannot be more than a teenager. And in all honesty, that was what I meant. That if we continue this way in the next few years, we are going to be in trouble, because what are we doing, in trying to understand that this is our country? So basically, that was my intent, but it came out wrongly from me, and the perception as well was wrong. So, and that is life. Hey. So yes, I got the hit for it, and the only people I thought I needed to talk to were my kids and my family. So, and I did that same day. Do you understand what's going on? Do you understand this? Do you understand this? You know who I am? Are you okay with this? Who do you think I am? So when I got the feedback from them and they were cool, Muchigaba.
So, looking at it now, right now on social media, if anything happens,
yes,
people make a joke out of it and saying, okay, it's Honorable Desmond's.
Nine the Cosa.
Yes.
Oh, it went for a while.
It's still on.
It's still on. So I like it. So there's no
how do you
news
feel
like.
when you see those things now?
Frankly, and
That
actually,
people make jokes out of it.
so I think is the cruise that we're catching as Nigerians. So here's my point. I feel there's an acceptance of our situation. When I say acceptance, I'm not saying positively accepting. No, acceptance of our situation, that we know say, okay, we not go die. Make we just live with that. Now so it be. It's not going. This whatever it is that is happening is not going to stop us from our Faji and stop us from having our life and enjoying ourselves. One day, salvation will come. So that's how I see it. So, but you see, in all of it, I'm seeing the brilliance at which Nigerians are bringing out stuff to put out there. Am I entirely comfortable with how we address our Nigerian situation? I'd say no. Okay, I'd say a no. But what I'd say is every Nigerian, and I repeat, every Nigerian should look at the country as his or hers. And we have to put in the value into our country. And I feel if individually we put in that value, and we rate our country as ours, then there are certain things we'll address differently. So it's not in my place to tell us how to address those things. But I think when we begin to put value to what we are doing, in other words, if our hearts and our minds are in a particular thing, there's a way we'll cherish that thing. We know that the thing might not look so good now, but we're not going to put in such a way that eventually when we are fixing it, other people that look at it will not say, Shebi, you say this is not good. Shebi, you say this is not scatter. Shebi, you say this thing. So let's treat it like it's ours.
Okay.
So that's how I am treating every situation. That's how I treat my neighbors next to me.
You said something earlier that
Yes, ma'am.
everything, there's a peak. Everybody has a peak.
Yes.
And that whatever goes up will definitely come down.
Yes.
So if you had the power to control the tides, the times,
Yes.
what would you say would be your peak as a politician and as a Nollywood stakeholder?
So let me start as a politician, because there are two different worlds, and trust me, I don't even know how I do those two different worlds. Politically is that I'm able to affect my people positively.
Okay.
My people meaning the constituency I represent. So yes, now if I represent my constituency positively, it's going to have an effect in the neighboring communities, constituencies. And not only do they cite what I am doing as an example to other representatives or politicians, it will also spur them to also do better in whatever it is. Now, I'm using myself as an example into saying, okay, these are the things I think about for my people. I think about, especially knowing what my duties are. 3, making laws, representing the people, and then oversight in what government is doing. But if I do just what is written in that book, then I've not started in Nigerian politics. I have to start thinking of being an executive in the legislature. I have to now think of what the necessary needs of my people are. Hunger. So what do we do as a representative? Will you just say, oh, my job is just to go and make law? Look at what government is doing. Government, oh, you're spending too much. Don't spend too much. And then represent you. I have to now look at those innate needs of our people. So hunger, how can I help hunger? Okay, you can help by trying to empower the youth. How do you empower the youth? Now, you know you're in the assembly. You don't get all that money to empower them. So how can you make it? So you look for corporate organizations that can also help. You look for businesses where they do entrepreneurial work, and you're trying to put them so that you can teach them to fish rather than giving them the fish. You know, so there are different aspects you can do in trying to help or ameliorate the problems of that society.
So you think that's your peak?
To me, that would be my peak. So those little things. Okay, he was responsible to making sure electricity came to my place. Or he tried to make sure there was available water in my community. He not only tried to make sure, he made sure that those things happen. If I make sure that I'm able to help my people in terms of infrastructure wise and in human capacity, then I think I'll be satisfied, knowing that I'm not here as a messiah to save the world.
Let's leave politics now.
I don't want us to leave politics.
Let's talk about Nollywood. Let's talk about Nollywood now.
You're not answering Nollywood.
Okay, what's your part in Nollywood?
You said you spoke about the peak. What would you, if you could control the tides, what would be the peak for you in Nollywood? I mean, for you to say that, oh yes, I've achieved my peak. If I come down now.
Oh, you mean as Desmond, right? Yes. Or as the industry?
No. As
okay, let me talk as Desmond and let me talk as the industry. As Desmond, let me tell you, I felt in my heart I attained my peak when I did this film. Oh my God, this one that had RMD as my brother, Behind Closed Doors. The day I did Behind Closed Doors, for me, I don't reach height of Nollywood. Why? I had my mentor RMD there as my brother. I had Stella Damasos as my wife. I had Patience Ozoko as my mom. I had Isong as the producer, Lancelot Odo and Maswe as the director, Remy Jess as the owner of the production. What else were we looking for in Nollywood? I had it all like this. So first, the shock of being in front of all these people that I've been working with individually, but everybody conglomerate, it became what? So that was my peak. That was my peak for me. You know, every other thing I did after then, I felt was Jara. So, but for the industry, I'd say when Nollywood is able to find its footing as you have your A films, you have your B films, you have your C films, you have your independent films. Once we're able to have those categories, right now we are just like politicians, no ideology. We just do anywhere we do the switch, just the enter. You understand? I can't wait for us to start having things cut across ideological lines. I can't wait for it because indeed we have ideological lines.
Okay, now I want to ask you this. I'm going to put you in a tight corner.
Not too tight, though.
Very tight corner.
Don't ask me what to put me in trouble.
No. I've run away from politics now till we finish. We are back to Nollywood. Your first constituency. To me, Nollywood has been Daoniliola, Lyric Paimo, Uncle Peter Doche, and the rest of them. To now come to the face of RMD, those face, Joke Silva, it was those face towards the end that people like you came in, you understand? Now,
we're fortunate to come in.
The next phase are the face of the young, both the young actors and directors who are doing incredibly well and amazing now. The corner I want to put you is this. If you are to pick 3 actors that when you are watching and you look at these people and say, oh God, these guys are doing very amazing things. Actors, who will you pick?
Male and female?
Yes.
This is not the tight spot. You tie the thing, don't break it there.
And we know you know because you just directed a fantastic film.
3 male, 3 female.
Oh yeah,
That's
do that.
So, I've always thought DME was a wonderful actor. DME Okola, fantastic actor. Daniel Effiong. I love Daniel Effiong. I love the ease at which he expresses, himself and takes into the roles. Third one. Okay, so he's the new Steez of today. And I worked with him.
Okay.
So apparently we shot that film, 3 is a crowd.
3 is a match.
3 is a match. I keep saying 3 is a crowd. 3 is a match. Okay, that was our working title while we were filming. I shot it before the other one that Omoni Oboli did. So
okay.
And I'd worked with Uzo on Chini Love's movie.
Okay.
10 Day Out and something, I think. obviously I've always liked Uzo, but what he did in that one. So when I read the story first, I said no, this one. So I was busy working. I mean, politics. I had to beg the producer to hold on. Let us be on recess first. That this film, guess how many days we shot that film for? 4 days. 4 days. 4 days. But I don't put my mind that she just begged me like, please, I need you here. And yes. So sat with the actors and all that. And I loved the fluidity of, so I like when an actor is fluid. I like that you have a guideline, which is a script, but you can make it, you can own it. You ask your director, how do you think about this? And I'm like, it's an Igbo man, but he stopped his education because his sisters had to go to school. He had to make sure, because the parents died, he had to become father and mother for them, So most of the things you even saw were not necessarily in the script. It was things out of, as you're talking, hey, stop, oh yeah, add this one, stop, oh yeah, add this one. Even the end beats where, he wore the Ashwegbi thing, this thing. It was not that way. We just crippled the thing, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? I even told the producer, I said, that my clothes, you never return now. That's my jalabi. I just gave him the scarf. I gave her this. I said, wait, let's do this. And to my greatest surprise, that's the end part is where people always talk. See, that Nigerian, this thing. You can never get scarce talents. They are there. There are too many.
Sandra.
There are too many. There's the Sandras, there's the Destiny, and everybody is just proficient in their own way. Let's forget about the physical. For me, I'm from the Lancelot Odo and Maswen School of Thought. We deal more with the dramatic sense of the actor. You understand? So that to me is more important. That's why you see in my films, I deal more with the actors and how they talk, how they feel. And I say, this is what I want. I want to feel. So there are certain films like The Devil's Advocate, John Q, and all those ones I always recommend. I say, go and watch this film. Look at one actress there. If it's Meryl Streep, if it's Denzel, just watch the person. Learn it. See how the person, fluctuates. The modulation in the lines, the blah, blah, blah. Some are born great actors. Some. Majid, Michelle, Ramsey, Noah, those ones, they born them, they act as they want them. But their mama womb self, that they walk, those ones. Keep them one side. They don't kick them. Pack them one side. Some must learn on the job. There's my Elliot. You understand? People like us, we will learn. With us, is wisdom. Okay, this is how you do it at this point. This is how you do it at this point. So some are like that. You learn on the job. Some is just for the field. I just want to go big brother, let them know me. So those ones, they're on their own. And those ones also bring some kind of sauce to the work. So it's always a plus when you are actually good looking in front of the world by camera, and then you constantly act for females.
Time goes so fast when you're having fun. You won't believe we've spoken for more than 45 minutes. You understand? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Before you leave, I'd like you to tell us what people should look forward to seeing from you in the next few months.
So let me tell you the great thing about politics. I'm going to tell you. So politics is not all bad. The great thing about politics is a platform that you can never ever get from any other place. Platform. It's too huge not to be in that circle. It's too huge not to be in that circle. I'm telling you plainly, as one who is a cross between the hybrid between the young and the old. It's too big not to cross through. It took Jack Condé less than 4 years to make a legacy. Listen again, sir. It took Jack Condé less than 4 years. You're hearing Jack Condé estate. You would think this man stayed 20 years. 4 years plus. 4 years plus. So when I begin to remember these things, it tells me there's no excuse. Oh, the country is hard. Okay, it's hard for everybody. But what are you doing? If you come to my house in Surulere, I kid you not, I do not close my door. I do not close my door. People come in. Guess what? Most of the ideas come from people. So And let me tell you what I've drawn up in all these ideas. And this is what you're going to see in Surulere, at least for this tenure. One, out of talking to people, blah, 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 I say, wait a minute. More than half of Nigerians who are of youthful age or who have graduated, who are unemployed, are actually doing stuff online. Now, what would be the problem? They need resources, they need money. So when you provide the laptops for them to do the work, you provide good, fast internet, you provide a hub for interactions, then you'll be doing something. Then finally, you now give them somewhere where they can create content for free. My brother, you're now communicating, because then they can market their products, you can help you, blah, blah, blah. So that's one. There's another one called, we call it YET, is the youth empowerment training. So here we're treating, so what we did it 2 years ago and we're doing it again. So we're going to people like, maybe not to call the names, Make Me, Bismead, Tara, House of Tara, blah blah blah, all of them in Surulere. I'm getting people who are graduated who just want to learn something. So we put you in all these various places for 6 months. You learn. I'm also collaborating with Lagos State so that at the end they get start of parks, blah blah blah. I also give money to the students. I also give little token to these people, and thank God when you give them this money, I'm talking of the Bobbies, who go Make Me, the Bisme, guess what? They still take this money and still give to these people training to say, we're trying to encourage you. So that's what we'll be doing in Surulere, and we're still continuing this year as well.
All
so
right.
there are many more. There's so much to say.
Thank you so much for coming. There are so much questions that I cannot ask. I wanted to ask, a lot of people don't know that you have 2 sets of twins.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know so much questions that I would have loved to
are in the
ask.
university, by the way.
Ooh, wow.
Yes.
Time flies so fast. You understand? So I wanted to, there's so much question I wanted to ask you how you felt that a junior colleague of you was the one that challenged you for your seat.
I felt good, but I didn't feel too good again because I thought because, so here's how my own reasoning. I might be wrong. I just felt, okay, I am not just representing Surulere, I'm representing the industry. That is why you notice that every time there is wedding, burial, blah, blah, you go see me there. You go see me there. So I try my best to participate either financially, morally, or something. I make sure I do it diligently. It's intentional. I make sure I talk to my older colleagues, the AGK Asebu's, the Charles Novias. Oh, bros, if you know anything, tell me. If you understand, there's a reason. Because by the time I get to where I can actually make something for Nollywood, I want to be there, not to be found wanting. And that comes with longevity. So here is someone who is saying he wants to go again, and I don't have trust me. I mean, you've seen pictures where I met him when he was doing his service here. I have nothing personal, and yes, I didn't do any of those things. You see, those rumor, he called boys to come and beat me. None of that. I don't do all that crap. But most importantly is the fact that I am proud that I am here because I know that for Nollywood, trust me, the number one fan for Nollywood, and when I say Nollywood, is vis-a-vis the bigger creative industry. I am very particular. I want one day we have a ministry of Nollywood. You know what that means? So it means that government is dedicating resources. And we're not asking government to bring money. We're asking government to create the enabling environment. Bring foreign companies to come. Chinese people to come and work with Nollywood. Bring Canadians. Bring all those people to come and work. Bring their expertise. Our ideas of our films, our materials are very fresh, very new, very, very original. Oyibo go like and die. Come and use Oyibo expertise with our own stories. Join everything. Put someone like Daniel. Put this one. Bimbo. Put up Oyibo. Those. My brother did. Oh my mad gone.
But did it spur you to go somewhere, to go higher? I mean, do you think that you were done with this level? It was time to move on.
So
to the next level.
Like I said, you started spiritually, so it's a spiritual walk. God, do I go to reps? Sit your ass down. Oh, sorry, French. Sit your butt down. Stay here. Bros, you know the grassroots is hard. Sit here. So when you hear sit here, it means sit here. You know, say for this time, now here God want to make day. You know, so and I do not look. See, you see this platform alone. E big go. E big die. Why would I be when I go to say you are supposed to be there? Suppose how? Is it my father's or the father they write it? Leave me where I'm at. When people are praying, you will go to this. Leave me here. Pray for me here. This one when I did so. Make I do am well. Let the people see and say, when we had drainage problem, we called him, he came. When we had this, we called him, he came. Oh, last mile health there, we called him, he did. We did this. Oh, there's a wedding here. Oh, there's a burial here, he did. That's what I want to be known for. That I was there when they needed me. That's that you're called a representative.
Honorable Desmond.
Thank
you so much for coming. We could go on and on
boss,
and on.
You see this thing? We died there. Niger was good. You hear me? Niger was good. Because we bros, now yeah, they comfortable pass. Then I can't wait one day. Ashiwaju, make pidgin English lingua franca. He go mad. Oh, you go come they learn am. And we can't get all the things. Today last year, tomorrow this one. He go mad. Baba will go get there. When we they speak our
speech, we do it for UN. When they do the speech, now pidgin will they speak. You don't understand? We don't say that is why I say now why I won't tell you this thing. Or people say, what's it saying? You hear now, you hear why. I tell you. Baba, by the time we don't they confuse them, we don't they carry them. That is how we can build it. University of Pidgin English and Nigeria.
No problem. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm sure that at some time very soon you have a project that you will come back and talk to. I'm sure that no problem. I'm sure that a lot of young people must have learned a lot from you. Those who want to come into Nollywood, you spoke about how to get there. Those who want to go into politics, I even learned one or two things from what you spoke about today. You understand?
Without God, you know they walk.
I know.
Chineke, Olong, Alamu. Without him, it can never ever walk. I'm a living testimony.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. To our listeners, thank you for listening to Nollywood on Radio today. Remember, tomorrow is public holiday, Workers' Day. There are a lot of Nollywood movies in the cinema. Labake Odododo, Owambeti, Sashebi Dari, Make Nation. I'm still coming there. Make Nation. Family Bois.
Yes.
You understand? Owambeti are still in the cinema. And then on the streaming network, there is a lot of movies still doing well.
To all the broken-hearted.
TV, please, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
What's the title of the film?
To all the broken-hearted.
Gideon Okeke, Ego, Mark Ego, Bimbo Akintola, you can't miss it.
All right, no problem. Domi will watch the film because she's broken-hearted. All right.
No, not yet. It's not going to, no. Never. How did that get?
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Desmond, for coming. Thank you, Tomi, and thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with yet another Nollywood star to discuss Nollywood. Thank you for listening.